Good evening, Muttonistas. It's the Primemutton back again, and I'm still in Ireland. And you all know what that means. It's going to be, yes, another pub and Guinness video. I've now moved on to the beautiful city of Kilkenny on the river, castle behind me. Some of you Muttonistas raving about the pubs here serving up savage Guinness. What more could a mutton ask for? So, Muttonistas, without further ado, let's head off and try the pubs and stouts of Kilkenny. Right, Muttonistas, pub number 1, Tynan's Bridge House Bar. This is one of the most requested pubs from you, the Muttonistas, and some of you described the pint here as being savage. So I hope you're all right, and I'm served up with a creamer. Let's go in and give it a try. Right, Muttonistas, Tynan's, and my friend Steve's already had a sip of his pint and he is waxing lyrical about it, so I am expecting possible creamer here, Muttonistas. Oh my goodness, it's not just a creamer, it's an absolute creamer, this is. This is the best pint I've had so far on this trip to Ireland. And those of you who call it a savage pint, I think you're on the money. Well, coming to the end of the pint, and it has stayed true to the bottom of the glass. Lovely little drop. €5.90, a good price as well, and 2/3 of the pub I reckon are on this, and they are drinking it into form. It is a creamer, an absolute creamer, and if there are better places than this, and some of you have suggested there are, then what a treat I'm in for, and you the viewers are too. Onwards and upwards, Muttonistas, to the next watering hole. Well, what a start to the Kilkenny tour that was, Muttonistas. What an awesome pint at Tynan's. Now, I just went for dinner at a place called Lemongrass. It's worth a shout out if you're here. I do like my Asian food very spicy, but I dined with two people who are not really into very spicy stuff. So it was well flavoured, well seasoned, and had a bit of a kick, not a huge kick. So ticked a lot of boxes. Anyway, second pub, Sid Harkin's. A lot of you recommended this to me, and apparently it's a quiet pub rather than one that has music, and I think Ryan's is going to be our third, which does have music, so I hope I can vlog there. If not, we'll do it tomorrow. Anyway, into Sid's, and let's check out the vitamin G. Okay, Muttonistas, Sid Harkin's. Now, I'm just a bit worried that I've shot my load prematurely by going to Tynan's first. If I've had the best pint there is to be had here in Kilkenny first, well, I'm a bit worried that I'm going to get a drop-off and not enjoy the beer. But it should be still pretty solid, the pint here. Maybe it's better, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. Probably a bit better than I was getting in Waterford, but not as good as Tynan's. Well, that was a monster of a pint, but this is still pretty good, and I'm going to enjoy this and the pint I have for the Instagram review afterwards. So, Muttonistas, you might wonder what I'm doing showing you a plaque or stone in the floor, but it relates to the famous Irish poet Thomas Moore, who proposed to his wife, or his then-to-be wife, at that very spot. And the landlord here told us that this actually was an inn at the time, so there would have been pints flowing, or whatever they used to drink flowing, rooms for people to stay, and of course it was an important place because it was close to the castle. Anyway, more importantly, how's the pint towards the end of the glass? Yep, it's remained consistent, and actually it's improved slightly. So, again, not as good as Tynan's, but wow, I would bite your hand off to get this quality of Guinness back in Britain. Right, Muttonistas, final pub of evening one, Ryan's, Andrew Ryan's. Recommended by a lot of you, and recommended by a Muttonista who's joined us on our little crawl tonight. So, again, hoping for good things. The last pint wasn't too bad, but wow, I'm still thinking about that absolute creamer I had at Tynan's before. Let's see how the Guinness is in here. I'm going to have to go out to the back to the smoking area because of the music, unfortunately. Okay, Muttonistas, settled into Andrew Ryan's. Good-looking pint, not quite as good as the last two in terms of its appearance. Doesn't mean the flavour's going to be bad. And this bar is a very musical bar. I mean, just look around here at all the music posters. And I'm having to actually sample this pint in the back room because the music would have been too loud otherwise. I do like a bit of music at a pub, so nothing to complain about there. The most important thing, of course, is how is the Guinness? That's great. That's really good. I call this a creamer, actually. Again, not as good as Tynan's, but better than the last pub we went to since. So, Muttonistas, this has been a great start to the vlog. First evening, 3 pubs, 3 solid pints, 1 great pint, 1 creamer, and 1 absolute creamer. It's funny that so the live music has finished, pint music now, so that's great because I can actually stand in the corridor of the main bar area. Another pint that's grown on me. And what a start yet again. I have to repeat that. So looking forward to tomorrow, and I'm going to try and squeeze in as many pubs as I can. So I'll see you in what's a few ticks for you and a good night's sleep for me. Afternoon, Muttonistas, on to day 2. Last night, again, got a little bit heavy. I ended up talking to some people at the last pub, and then, of course, ended up going to a late bar with them. Matt and the Millers, actually, just opposite my hotel. Very nice pint, actually, for somewhere serving late. Usually, if you try and have stout in Britain at a late bar, it's absolutely shocking. Anyway, on to this place, the Sceilp, and I was thinking of not bothering covering it because there are so many good places close to each other, but some of you said the Guinness here is exceptional, so I've really got to come. And of course, if people look at my video and think, oh, where should I go for a pint in Kilkenny? Well, I don't know, I'm not sure they'd come out this way unless the quality really matters. Well, we'll have to see whether the quality is what everybody's building it up to be first, but if it is, I guess worth a detour for Guinness drinkers. Maybe not the right place if you're just an average tourist who, well, that's the wrong word really, but maybe not the right place if you're a more general tourist coming to Kilkenny to see many of the other pleasant sights here. Yes, so not really much going on around here. There is a hotel, the Hotel Kilkenny, just on the other side of the roundabout, so pretty convenient.
You all back. If it's no good, you'll hear it. If it's good, you'll hear it.
Oh, well. Well, what a hot item of fashion that is. And wearing such excellent clobber, it's only right that Adrian has a Guinness, which is very unusual for him. And what's the verdict?
Not bad at all.
Okay. Now time for me to give my verdict. Boy, am I looking forward to this.
Yeah. I'm gonna get football.
Oh, that is good stuff, Muttonistas. It's another absolute creamer. I've come to the right place. Well worth a detour to come out here. It was only 20 minutes, I think, if you walk. Of course, I was a lazy sod, and I took a taxi. And so, Muttonistas, what a pity that I'm coming to the end of this excellent pint. Another lovely pub, very spacious, and loads of TV screens for people who want to watch sport. Really does tick a lot of boxes. Of course, it doesn't have that city centre location, but other than that, it's a great place to be. And this pint has stayed true to the end of the glass. I wouldn't say it's improved, but it stayed the course. Anyway, Muttonistas, I'm going to have to drag myself away for the next pub, the second of the second evening. Okay, Muttonistas, I told a little fib, but you do know I stay on in pubs to do my Instagram reel, taking the first gulp out of a second pint, and isn't it beautiful here? I'd say that the pub's half and half on the Guinness and on other things, but it's still on good form. And I've got about 6 or 7 Muttonistas here helping me drink it into form. Oh yeah, and unfortunately I will be dragging myself away after this pint, so when I say on to the next pub, this time I really mean it. Now then, Muttonistas, next pub, Cleere's. It was described to me as being at the end of an area which is a bit of a no man's land, a strip full of pubs by the river, and then when you turn right you go past a lot of commercial buildings, and then it's pub city again. Very, very odd layout, but I suspect too far from the river for most of the tourists, so it'll be probably full of locals and probably sinking creamers. Come on, guys, serve me up a good one here. Sorry. Hello. Hello.
Hey, our friend.
Okay, Muttonistas, now in the next pub in Cleere's, and what an atmosphere there is here. Crack, as they call it in Ireland, friendly locals, plenty of Muttonistas, it's buzzing here. The Guinness is obviously flowing through the lines. Let's hope it's been drunk into form by the punters. That is very, very good again. Ooh, it's on the borderline between a creamer and an absolute creamer. I'm going to be a little bit reserved here and just call it a creamer, a mighty fine pint. And Muttonistas, so having just reviewed the pint from my initial sip, and don't forget, it can improve down the glass, the barmaid collared me. She said next time she's got to pour one, so look out for my Instagram review, because I'm going to have it poured by the bar lady. I suspect this is a family business, so she takes a lot of pride in what she's doing. Having said that, I'm not sure whether it is or not, or whether she's just an employee. Well, this was a very, very solid pint, and it actually improved as I went down the pint, as it sometimes does. And I had a quick look round. About half the pub is on the Guinness here, always an encouraging sign. Okay, some pubs like the Old Shillelagh in London, it's like nearly everybody's on it. But this is good enough. There are quite a few other pubs that were recommended just around here. I am going to go to O'Riordan's, or however it's pronounced. I can't make the others though, but maybe I'll just have to come back sometime and review those pubs that you, the Muttonistas, have recommended. Right, Muttonistas, final pub of night 2, and I do hope there's a day 3. I hope I don't go mad tonight, because I want to bring you a couple of independent stouts tomorrow to wrap the video up. I just went to Cleere's and it was very nice, and the staff were so friendly. I mean, they all wanted selfies with me, the customers were lovely as well, no hassle with filming, which is always very good. But they all said, this is the place, this pint could be the holy grail. Could it knock Tynan's off its spot as the Mutton's preferred pint in Kilkenny? Let's see. I'm hoping for great things here. The outside of the pub looks fantastic with the barrels. And inside I think I got a glimpse of some old school decor, which you know I like, Muttonistas. Let's hit it and let's hope we get that absolute creamer we've all been looking for.
How are you going on?
I'm good, thank you.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Right, Muttonistas, O'Riordan's. Took me a long time to actually learn how to pronounce that name, but we've got that done, and we've got ourselves hopefully into the right place. Absolutely loving the decor and the atmosphere here, and everybody's told me I'm going to love the pint, that it's going to be a creamer or possibly an absolute creamer. So, fingers crossed, let's hope we found the Holy Grail in Kilkenny.
Give us something decent. We deserve it.
Oh yes, the Muttonistas were on the money here. That Muttonistas is an absolute creamer. Now then, Muttonistas, I did arrive here quite late in the evening at about 11:45. So thankfully it's a Friday, because 11:30 is when they normally close during the week. And I was lucky enough to meet the owner as well. Very welcoming chap. Knew I was coming. Well, he's obviously a man on Instagram if he knew that. And he was very, very proud of his pint. And so he should be, because this is a mighty fine pint. It's a Creamerissimo one, Muttonistas. And the quality of this pint has basically dictated to me that I'm staying here until they kick me out. Okay, Muttonistas. Third and final day in Kilkenny, and I'm going to have to go to the station to take the train to Dublin in a few hours, but as I promised, I'm going to bring you a couple of independent stouts. And whilst we're at it, I mean, this really is a charming city. I brought you a few other clips. I know this has been a rush trip mainly about beer, but it is well worth a visit, as I said earlier. I'm going to go in and try something independent. They have a big O'Hara's logo on the bar or outside the bar, and there doesn't actually seem to be anybody in there, so I hope that doesn't mean I'm going to get something that's been stuck in the lines. Okay, Muttonistas. O'Hara's Stout in Brewer's Corner. You know me, I like trying independents, and in Tully's in Waterford really had a creamer of a pint of O'Hara's. Lovely landlord and landlady, who actually, he used to live in Manchester for a while, for 7 years I believe, and I've been actually spinning you all a bit of a yarn here. O'Hara's is based in County Carlow, about 20 kilometres from Kilkenny City. So, Muttonistas, I do apologise for giving you some misleading information on previous reels and reviews about it being from County Cavan or Navan. It's from Carlow, around here. Anyway, Muttonistas, the hospitable landlord, he did insist, after the landlady who served me first pulled off a bit of the beer because it had been stuck in the pipes, said, no, that's the first one, and poured me an extra pint, a really fresh one. It's also a test keg, which means that it's really fresh, just a week old, and it's here to test the flavour of the O'Hara's, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. Yeah, that is lovely. Creamy, just a very, very slight hint of bitterness. Okay, it's drinking very nicely, this Muttonistas. I've moved inside simply because somebody's playing very loud music next door to the garden or the smoking area. Anyway, this, the more I drink it, it's giving me more and more coffee. Again, this is more like an English stout. I'd say actually it's halfway across the Irish Sea, because it's not a really, really coffee-heavy stout like Nightjar, but you can taste those coffee notes at the finish. It's got a creamy start, slight bitterness at the start, and then quite a coffee finish. So those of you who love that, like myself, will love this. Some of you will find it too coffee-heavy, though. And the hops involved here, very interesting, the use of Fuggles hops. Don't know if they use that in Guinness, because they don't tell anybody what hops they use, but it's a nice one, often used in pale ales in Britain. So I'm going to get on with this Muttonistas and then take you for another independent at O'Sullivan's, which will be our last, or maybe our penultimate stop on this tour of Kilkenny pubs and pints. Right, Muttonistas, final pub of this tour of Kilkenny, in fact of this whole tour of southeastern Ireland. Yes, Sullivan's Brewing Company. Very keen to try another independent. I'd had O'Hara's before, but this one is going to be completely new for me, so I'm quite excited to try it. So come on, let's go in and have a pint. Okay, Muttonistas, Sullivan's, and a lot going on here apart from the bar. I do love drinking at a tap room because not only do you get the beer straight from the source itself, there's also a lot going on with food, and I even saw an interesting off-licence at the entrance selling quite a variety of wine. Of course, for us Muttonistas, the beer and the stout is the most important thing. I love that. I absolutely love that. It is an absolute creamer, this is. Wow. Just shows you don't always have to go for the Guinness. You can go for the independents. If you see it, get it. It is now available in a lot of places and a lot of countries. And in terms of the flavour profile, yes, there is a bit more coffee than in a Guinness because it's a standard or a benchmark that I can relate to you all, and a little bit of peach and nectarine, interesting fruit flavours. As you know, I like London Black, where there's a hint of forest fruits. This as well, great hop combinations to produce all of those flavours. So I'm going to get on with this, and I'll be back with you to wrap up the video at the end of the pint. Muttonistas drinking beautifully to the end of the pint, and the more of it I drink, it's more fruitiness up front and a coffee finish. Again, not an accentuated one. What a fantastic tour this has been of South East Ireland. I think Waterford, I enjoyed visiting, and I think I've seen as much as I need to see there. However, Kilkenny, I think I'll come back to, well, review the pubs that I didn't, because so many of you sent me so many pubs, there's no way I could cover them. I mean, 8 isn't a bad selection for you. And the castle, the river, the hotel looking over the river, lovely, lovely places. Although, one word of warning, accommodation in Ireland these days is very expensive. And again, Muttonistas, it's the point where I'm going to have to love you and leave you again. I'm going to try and do more trips to Ireland because I know you all love a good stout review. But until then, please remember, keep liking, push me up the algorithm, it's very important. Tell your friends and share the videos. Please subscribe if you like them and hit the bell button to be notified about my forthcoming videos. But most of all, as always, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.